Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
All right, that's right. It is the Lions Fan Cave Chat. It is the Lions versus Dallas pregame show. How you doing, Pistrilla?
I'm good there, Smoking JB. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. Going on my third day of my 55th trip around the sun. That means I'm 54. You remember, your birthday comes after you spent a year on Earth.
There's Smoking Dad.
Yes, there he is. Let's go, Dab.
Right.
But, you know, I just read the only guy that can't play this week that came off the IR is Christian Mahogany. That's good news. That means Branch is in. That means Lauren Strickland is probably going back to the practice squad because Brendan Joseph did beat him out in the preseason and made the active roster. I wonder what 7 people we're going to not dress this week. And I'm praying to God, as much as anyone hates me to say this, I hope it's James Houston.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? Put him, not dress him?
Right, because they're on the active roster, the ones they don't dress and then call up other.
I really think they're really they've been playing cat and mouse with Houston all season, so I really think they're kind of done with him. They're just not saying that. And we also go watch for Kirby too. Kirby is got a hamstring going on, so.
Yeah, he's been in and out of practice all week, but he
did practice today.
Yeah, he was a full participant today. Ken enters the thunderous applause.
Don't you have an applause one? Should have an applause one.
Yeah, I gotta find it. Nope, that ain't it. Nope.
No socking, no laughing. What's up, Ricky?
Oh, that's last. There it is. Finally.
Gonna clap to the clap.
Hey, let's give him the clap.
Clap on, clap off.
God, I hope that nobody ever creates a vowel that works to that.
Oh. Damn. Yeah, that would be kind of disgusting.
Every time somebody claps, you got to go to the bathroom.
Right. We are feeling good this evening. Tigers will win tomorrow because the best pitcher in the major leagues is pitching.
Like I sent you that meme that I saw.
Yeah.
Google says, go. Fuck you all. I got this.
Yeah, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I am excited to watch that tomorrow.
Oh, Lord. At least he's shortened his
wait.
name.
You know what? I wouldn't mind bringing back Joseph Faria, but I wouldn't want to trade Laporta to do it.
No.
a 6'8" guy that has a 39-inch vertical. I would love to have that as our red zone target.
What's Joseph Faria doing now?
I believe he bounced out of the league after a major leg injury while he was with the Commanders, if I remember right. You got 34-24. That's close to what mine. Mine was the 5th, trip 56 underway now. So you're a year older than me, James. You were born in that wonderful year, the divine number of 69.
I'm on that same trip, James. I'm going on my 56th.
Yep.
My trip 56.
Yep. Quick trip, lit Fantasia.
Just some old farts. Let's see.
So, other than that, Kirby's dealing with the hammy, but he returned to full practice today. I think it was just a hammy strain, not a tear or anything like that. So,
Oh yeah, they would definitely not had him in if he had a strain or a tear,
but
anything like that.
On the other side, I've already heard Parsons is out, Dalvin Cook is out. You know, the AARP running back room ain't doing so hot. That young kid Dowdell looks better than Deuce Vaughn too.
Yeah, they ain't gonna. Their running game is nothing I'm gonna be worried about. If they don't have any major running back that we need to worry about stopping anyway. I'm just worried about CeeDee Lamb on it. Of course, you know, I watch a variety of NFL shows, and one of them had Maurice Jones-Drew, who is a Lions hater. We all know this.
Yep.
And one of his predictions was that CeeDee Lamb was going to have more yards than Goff was going to have.
Yo,
I was like, dude.
But wait, he almost did in that last Dallas game, but that came off of a whiff sack of Derek Barnes had. If Derek Barnes gets that sack, that pass doesn't get completed.
It ain't going to happen. Because that offense, I know it's going to be hitting on out of cylinders. It doesn't make a difference anyway, because the Seattle offense outgained the Detroit offense, and we still won with less plays.
Right.
So we were efficient.
Seattle looked like Detroit versus Tampa Bay in that game. And but when I say that, in that Tampa Bay game, we never got it done in the red zone. They weren't getting it done in the red zone either until the second half when we went to prevent defense. If you look, what was it, 21-7 at the half?
Mm-hmm.
And then we scored 3 more touchdowns.
And now that's the reason why Geno had to throw 56 times, because he had to keep coming back. Every time the Lions scored, they were up at least by 14 points. They still had to keep going on. But yeah, Curb's practicing, and then Brian Branch coming back. That's going to be outstanding for the defense.
And
I think it's going to calm down. People just don't understand.
I need you to spell it out phonetically in the chat, because every time I see that, I want to say dandy nuts.
Dandy nuts.
Dandy
nuts.
And it sounds funny as hell, and I love it. Faria is gone. Yeah, he's out of the league. Okay.
Yeah.
Ken Ballrick in Detroit starting features have his name. His name is Tariq Skubal. His name is Tariq Skubal. His name is Tariq Skubal. His name is Tariq Skubal.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is Cleveland seen him once and couldn't touch him this postseason already. And I'm not saying he won't get touched, because they did have a game against him. They saw him for 6.5 innings, was it?
He gave up some singles, but he still didn't. I mean, they still won the game.
They had 3 hits, 0 runs, 8 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is Dandy Nuts. Okay.
Dandy Nuts. Dandy Nuts.
Now that gets an applause for the best name I've seen yet.
But so the only thing about this whole on the Detroit Tigers pitch, though, if they win that game 5, Tariq's not going to be able to pitch in the next game.
Right. Because the next game
they got to play the Yankees.
Hours. Right.
Yeah. They'll be playing the Yankees.
That means it'll be a lot like this Cleveland game. We're going to do another bullpen day to start. maybe a second bullpen day and then run them out.
Yeah, now we're gonna hear from Leonard. If the Tigers win, we're gonna hear from Leonard. Well, they're not gonna beat the Yankees because the Yankees are not. Man, Yankees suck D. That's
Hey,
what they
all
do.
I got to say is during that hot streak, didn't we win 3 out of 4 from
We
Yankees?
sure the hell did. Mm-hmm.
And didn't Aaron Judge only hit a home run on the one bullpen day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just checking because I knew he had one good game and then he kind of fell off.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Dallas security will force fans to watch the remainder of the game after the Lions
No,
start
we'll be
whipping that ass.
we'll
My
be producing a
prediction,
lot of memes.
I said if everything goes right and we play just like we did versus the Seahawks and the Cardinals, because if you think about it, we played very similar in both games. The difference
Mm-hmm.
is we were better and we spread the ball more
Mm-hmm.
versus the Seahawks. And they have a great secondary. So let's not discount what Goff did in that game. The only play that was going to be an incompletion, you know what? It was a pass interference play. So it didn't count as an incompletion.
Yeah, I think that Seattle has a better secondary than Dallas does. Bland and
Bland
what's
is
his
a
name?
game time decision. And Trevon Diggs has gotten better than his first year. His first year, he was a lot like
Takes
trying to think.
chances. He does a lot of chancy things.
A lot like Marcus Peters was when he was
Mm-hmm.
younger for the Ravens. He was hit or
Yeah,
miss. It was either an interception or the wide receiver took it
touchdown.
to the house.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there was no in between
Mm-hmm.
because it was either a bad pass that he was in the right place for or he was cooked. You know, Eli Apple has kind of been the same corner too his entire career. He's never had a good
Yeah.
coverage year. And I don't understand how people still give that man a job. It's like hiring Jeff Okuda.
I don't worry about this is why I say I don't never worry about the offense, because as long as that offensive line is intact and Frank Ragnow's coming back in there too,
Yeah,
you're not going to you it's one in the games are one in the trenches. No matter how pretty the game ends up being, it's still one in the trenches. And if that offensive line is doing as well as it is, nobody's going to be able to come in there. I don't care who's playing on the other side. I don't care.
Nealon's out 4 to 8 weeks. They dodged the surgery bullet, but he's going to miss the majority of the season. Parsons is still out. Lawrence is on the IR still until like week 8. Over under 4 defensive penalties for the Lions. Do you feel like I hope that's something that we worked on during the bye week. We've had 13 days before the game and probably had practices. They gave them half the week off last week during the bye week, and they deserved it. We went 3-1. There isn't a lot to clean up. My problem is everybody's down on Terrion Arnold, who had 8 penalties in that time, but that's 2 penalties a game on a rookie corner that's supposed to get penalties in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Say what you want. Even Sauce, as good as he was, he had penalties every game
Mm-hmm.
because when you come out of college, you get handsy. And I thought it
Yeah.
was funny. Sauce Gardner, right after that game versus the Seahawks, gave some advice to Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
And that mofo had 4 penalties that next game versus Minnesota. So
Yeah.
I'm like going,
Yeah, a
maybe
couple
you
of
should
those
listen to
too. A couple of those are kind of
ticky-tack.
BL's cause. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. But you know what I'm saying? And there was a couple where they were questionable with Terrion Arnold, but most of them were well-deserved.
I'll take Ricky's great grandpa, his shine pitch versus the Yankees.
Yeah, Eddie Sakat, the shine pitch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm trying to remember the old guy that was in Major League.
Oh,
goes, I don't have that electric stuff like you got there, Ricky Bone. I got to use Vaseline, jalapeno pepper.
Oh yeah, now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, little skinny guy.
He goes, I even put a little Vagisil right here where my belt buckle sits. Any one of those adds 4 to 6 inches drop off my pitch.
Lou Brown, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was the coach, right? Lou Brown was
Yep.
the coach.
Mhm.
I'm talking about the pitcher, the one that walked out after he drank the rum from Joe Boo's shot, and he goes,
And that's true. And
"Hey,
that's true, Mike.
bartender, Joe Boo needs a refill," and the bat slips out of a guy's hand and whacks him in the head.
Yeah, the SEC is more physical. That's why I think Arnold will be fine. Yeah, I feel the same way. He's a rookie. It's his first year. I mean, everybody goes through these growing pains. People forget about Darius Slay. Darius Slay, we drafted. He turned into a really good corner. So he's still top 10.
I still want the Vikings to bring in Bob Uecker to announce the game on the Viking side when the Lions play against them. And tonight's Die Hard night, free admission to anybody who was alive the last time that the Vikings were in a Super Bowl.
Could do that for both teams, really.
I know.
Yeah, just a bit outside.
Great.
I like when he used to do the Miller Lite commercials. He was hilarious in those.
Oh, yeah. And
Bob Uecker's
another thing.
Is Bob Uecker still alive?
Yes, he is. And he still announces 10 games for the Minnesota Twins every year.
Wow. Damn. Wonder how old is he?
Ah, God, he's got to be in his 80s. Every bit of that, if not 90. He's still funny as hell, too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
90 years old. Still alive.
Yeah. Damn.
Robert George Uecker. Bengals in shambles. What do you guys think of Lions making noise, bringing T. Higgins for more firepower? Oh, no. I don't think,
we don't need receivers right now.
I don't think receivers are what we need. Tim Patrick,
we need ends.
Go up, and they just said that they got some plans for Allen Robinson in this lineup too.
Yeah. He said he likes both receivers. I watched the presser today. Yeah, he said he likes both receivers. So
he was born January 26, 1934. In 1984, which was 20 years ago, he was 70.
Oh, he's Milwaukee Brewers. Is who he?
Yeah, the Brewers. That's what it was. Yeah. Either way, I know he announces 10 games a year for them still at 90. The problem is T. Higgins is on that tag, and the tag is the average of the top 3 salaries on last year. I don't think they make a move like that. If they're going to make a splash move, I think it's going to be at the end, if anything. And in all actuality, we don't even really have to trade. Crosby already said he does not want to go anywhere. So that's off the table. The only one that's still on the table and they don't want to trade him is Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick wants out and the Jets said they won't trade him. And now that the biggest person that was stopping that deal from getting done is out of that coaching staff, it was Rob Salah. The GM told Hassan Reddick, yeah, I want to get you a deal as soon as you get here. Now that he's gone, I'm almost willing to put dollar for dollar against somebody that the deal is done within the next week and a half.
No, I don't think it's done. His agency just let him go. His agency just let him go because they feel what he's doing is not beneficial to the agency because the agency gets commission off of him, and if you're not playing, you're not getting commission, and if you're losing money, you're not giving them any. I mean, he probably gives them money. He was probably giving them money anyway, but they were like, "Nah, see, this dude is
costing us money." Is what they're thinking.
Yeah. See, on the business part of that was just a business decision for the agency. As far as him, Hassan Reddick himself, he's not budging. And I don't care what coach it is or not. I don't think it was the coach that's the problem. It's still the coach don't pay him. It's the damn ownership that has to pay him, and the ownership isn't paying him because they ain't budging, and there's no way he's going to come out of that. So when is the trade deadline? A couple more weeks,
Yes,
right?
this is week 6, so we have 2 weeks left until the trade deadline. Week
Yeah,
8 is the trade deadline still.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be traded to
Here's
somebody.
here's something no one's thought of. If they go to an 18-week season, week 9 becomes the trade deadline.
Right.
And Brian Three Cushion comes in. Good to see you, brother.
In Orlando, what's going on, Orlando? Also they released what's his face from Tampa Bay, Derek. White.
Oh, he was released from the Eagles. The Eagles just signed him to a 4-year, 66% guaranteed contract. So now he's sitting in free agency, and that's someone I would like the Lions to do to bolster the linebacker room. You can get him for cheap because he's still making $8 million a year from Philly.
Yeah, you only have to pay maybe 4 or less for him to come here, and then he's a good he could work him as a Sam linebacker. So
I'm gonna give that one an applause too. Dandy Nut says, "What do they call a drug ring in Dallas? A huddle." Pass rushers to watch tomorrow: Mikael Williams, Georgia; James Pierce, Tennessee; 2 guys from Ohio State, JT Tomalo and Jack Sawyer; 2 guys from Penn State, Abdul Carter and Dennis Sutton. Yeah, that's all. That's what they brought in. That's because they lost a linebacker on top of all that last week too. So you're talking about guys that are backups at almost every position. Jack Sawyer is the guy that replaces Leighton Vander Esch because he's been on the roster. But they just signed that Abdul Carter, if I remember right, in the last week or 2. And Dennis Sutton is somebody they called up from the practice squad. So, that front 7 is pretty injured for the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go, Ricky.
Ricky's on a fire today. And all those guys are nice and everything else, but none of them scream out, beware. Not with Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Frank Ragnow, Zietler, and Sewell out there.
I think he's mainly talking about college players to watch tomorrow.
Oh, John. Watch tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't really watch Ohio State unless they're playing somebody from Michigan. And I don't just mean U of M. I watch them when they play MSU too. Why? Because if MSU's not playing Michigan, I don't hate them.
I don't even watch too much college ball because usually what I do is if I see a player I'm interested in, I usually watch tape on them.
Gotcha, John. I understand. I usually DVR a lot of the college stuff so I can do more in-depth stuff in the off season. That way I can get some good scouting profile.
Yeah, well, we're playing Ohio.
So
Cleveland.
Who has been great out of Ohio State in the NFL? I know Eddie George.
I mean, you got
Chris Carter.
Plenty of people.
Chris Carter, right? Wasn't he Ohio State?
Yep, Chris Carter.
I know that none of them were quarterbacks until C.J. Stroud.
Well, yeah, they're not a very good. Yeah, they're not.
They had a few good wide receivers here and there. Cameron Hayward. Yep, there's a good one. We've heard a lot of guys that were supposed to be great in the NFL. They've had a lot better luck with offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and linebackers.
Spielman.
Yep, Spielman. Yeah, but I'm talking about who was the other one that was really good there for a while, but it was injury short, and he went to the Rams. James Laurinaitis.
Ezekiel Elliott was there. Archie Griffin. Joey Bosa. Chase Young. Whatever happened? Where's Chase Young at? Is he still in San Francisco?
No, he's in New Orleans.
Oh Lord.
They let him go. They traded for him and didn't even re-sign him because remember they benched him for the Super Bowl. I said offensive linemen they were great at.
Yep.
Orlando Pace.
Orlando Pace. Yep. Orlando Pace is a great offensive
Oh,
lineman. Jack Tatum.
mhm.
Jack Tatum.
Yeah, that's back in the day. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if you look, there's a wide range before they get to the next good one.
Yep. AJ Hawk.
Yeah, Malik Hooker is decent. He's not great.
Let's see.
Tom Skladany, old
Mike
Lions.
Vrabel.
Nice, Michael Huck, bringing out the old school stuff.
Yeah, that's old. That's yeah.
+1 to Dandy Nuts. I can hear you can get handguns cheap on their sideline. Ooh. Yeah, you can buy them from Mozzie Smith.
Yeah, they had some. I mean, hey, I'm not a big Ohio. I'm not a Ohio State fan by any. Yeah, I said AJ Hawk. Yeah, John. Yep, AJ
AJ
Hawk.
Hawk.
There's
What'd
some.
you think,
There's some
Matthews?
pretty good players that come out of Ohio State. You know, let's be real. They have some pretty good players come out of Ohio State.
To Ed Scott's grandkid, Ricky, you can always say that. I'm saying they've had some great old linemen. They've had some decent to great defensive linemen, some good to great linebackers. But for the most part, their offensive guys in the
Taylor
skill
Decker.
position. Oh, I
I
know.
was
I
going to say Taylor Decker.
Taylor Decker's one of the few good picks Bob Quinn ever made. Him, Frank Ragnow, and Graham Glasgow. Lately, but you're talking about
LSU. I think LSU's got a little bit of a
leg up
upper
on them.
hand on that. Yeah, I mean you got two of the top receivers in the league playing right now, Chase and Jetta, and they're both from LSU. So I mean,
Yes, go Lions, gun guy, 100%. Yeah, we already mentioned Orlando Pace. Where was Joe Thomas from? Wasn't it CMU? If I
I
remember
have
right.
no idea.
I know one. There was Joe Thomas, and then there was the other guy. Joe Thomas stayed in Cleveland. Who was the guy from CMU that went to San Francisco that was great for a long time? Left tackle.
Central Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Down. Somebody out there know? Antonio Brown was from Central Michigan.
I know that. And he was great. He was great.
Tyler Conklin was from Central Michigan.
Yep.
Joe Staley. That's who you're talking about.
Yeah, Joe Staley. He was the one.
Joe Staley was a really good one. Yeah. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people from Central Michigan I didn't realize.
Bernard
Nick
Raymond.
Valor.
Yep. Bernard
Cooper
Raymond,
Rush.
the current guard for Tampa Bay. He's from Central Michigan.
Luke Gadecki's from Central Michigan. Oh, Novoi Djokovic. Yeah, he used to be a kicker for the Panthers.
Yep.
Ray Bentley. Yeah. Eric Flowers. Gary Hogaboom. Gary Hogaboom was from Central Michigan. Damn. Yep. Eric Fisher, another good tackle. Dan LeFavor. That's some pretty good players from Central Michigan. That's Eastern Michigan. Charlie Batch is from Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, he was from Eastern.
We have some good players coming out of this state.
Oh, Gun Guy lives by CMU. That's awesome. I've been through that neck of the woods a lot of times. Dan LeFevre was the QB when Antonio Brown was there. That team was really good. Yeah, that was when
Yep.
They had a couple of really good offensive linemen, a couple defensive guys that came out of them. It was great when Archie Griffin had to hand the Big Ten trophy to Jim Harbaugh and he got booed. It was.
So from Eastern Michigan, Max Crosby is from Eastern Michigan, obviously. Charlie Batch, who we mentioned, is LJ Selton.
I like that part of a parlay. Yep, fire up chips. And hey, gun guy, just so you know, when I go live with the South Florida Tribune on Inside the Pigskin, sometimes former CMU head coach John Bonamego, who also was a Lions special teams coach that was here with Caldwell, he actually started with Schwartz, was let go, and went on to got a better offer, left somewhere else, came back with Caldwell, then coached CMU, and then came back and coached the special team that good year when Marvin Hall was returning all the kicks, along with when James Agnew went down. That was John Bonamego that year too.
Western Michigan's produced a lot of NFL good greats too. Corey Davis, Greg Jennings, Jason Babin, Darius
Anybody
Phillips.
defensive? Anybody want a defensive coordinator? I heard Wink Martindale might be available before the season ends.
Hey, you got a newly offering of a defensive coordinator. I'd take him as a defensive coordinator any day.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said I would love if the Lions reached out to him and said, "Hey, you want to be an assistant defensive coach this year?"
Right. Probably help Aaron Glenn out a lot.
So,
Louis Delmas.
I get to talk with some pretty cool cats every now and then on that Inside the Pigskin. Mel Farr Jr., Mel Farr superstar's son.
Yeah.
Former UCLA standout. Tell Leonard he can have Wink back. He don't want him either. Brian Dable don't want him anywhere. Give me Salah at Michigan. I'm thrilled. I'd love to see it, but I think he gets another shot in the NFL somewhere.
Yeah, he definitely is going to get a shot. He's going to get might not be a head coaching shot, but it will be a coordinator shot, and I'm guarantee you somebody's going to need a defensive coordinator.
You know who needs a defensive coordinator right now?
San
Francisco. Yeah, I agree with you, B.
Defensive
that
coordinator.
Defense is awful. Did you see how many points that Seattle put up on them in the second half?
Yeah, and defense is not really a place where they had a lot of players missing. It's been on offense.
Yes. Grand Valley State's very underrated for a D2 school, along with SBSU. Both
and
of
Wayne State.
All three have put players into the NFL. Speaking of Wayne State, a soccer player friend of mine that's been on this show before had a chance to be their punter and turned it down in Dom DeRubis.
Huh.
Salah is a lifelong D coordinator, and nothing wrong with that. No, there isn't.
Nope.
You know who else might want to grab him as an assistant so he's there as the heir apparent next year? And I'm going to say it right now. It would make it even scarier. Minnesota. I'm just saying, there's all sorts of teams where defensive coordinators are considered player favorites and can go on to head coaching jobs next year. Let me name them. AG. There's one. He had head coaching offers this year that he turned down, didn't even go to the interview. So you can say what you want about AG, that he's not a good this and not a good that. He is a good coach. Yeah. Plaxico Burress is from Michigan State.
Yep.
Stories like Salah, Ben Johnson with the longer.
I love that little straight shooter Plaxico Burress. Almost shot his dick off. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Hey, let me shot. You know what he did? He was doing that scene from Blazing Saddles, and he grabbed the wrong piece. He goes, "Excuse me while I whip this out." Oh shit, my leg!
Well,
that's
I'll put it to you this way: if I was a guy that was getting a chance to have a spot to be a head coach, like Minnesota's DC, I'd probably if the Lions win the Super Bowl, I guarantee you Ben Johnson's gone right from that point. And
right.
then you got Salah out there. I would build offense and a defense with those two greats right there. Th- Your team could be, you could have crap as players, but they'll bring out that good stuff, and especially Ben Johnson, because he basically did that right, and he's doing that now. I mean, to look at it, you take these players off this team and put them on another team, they're not going to be great. The offensive line is the only thing that's solid.
Right.
That you know, they can go different places and make their offensive line better, but that's about it. I mean, we level them on, but can you imagine them on another team? It's not. I don't think it's plausible.
Well, I mean, we can't imagine it, but at the same time, he didn't imagine himself
Playing
being
here,
here.
all right? Yeah. Well, you got to have offense. Offense is going to move the ball up and down, and they did have offense. That's why they went out and got Aaron Rodgers, because they figured he would in, but he screwed up the first year and got hurt. Well, not exactly his fault, but the point of the matter is you got to have an offensive line too. You can't see that's the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. That's what makes him Aaron Rodgers ass rod and Tom Brady the GOAT. Because Tom Brady goes out there to win. He don't go out there to worry about what he's going to be doing out there. He goes out there to worry about winning. And that's the difference between him and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is an egomaniac. He won't go out there and say, look, I'm not coming on this team unless you build an offensive line so I don't get hurt. I'm 40 years old. Ain't nobody trying to tackle. I'm not trying to get tackled by no big ass lineman. Hell no. That's what Tom Brady said to Tampa Bay when they got him. So, because they had a messed up offensive line when he got there. They got Wirfs in the draft, and they got a couple of offensive linemen on free agency. They weren't playing. He said, if I got to give up money for getting me an offensive line, I'm there.
All right, that's a +1 to James. Minnesota needs Matt Canada for their OC. That'd be
There's
like
no,
hiring Matt Nagy, wouldn't it?
it
Because
wouldn't
I
make a
think that's why
difference.
Matt Canada got fired from Pittsburgh. He stole Matt Nagy's Tecmo Bowl playbook.
Well, Conley's not he's offensive minded anyway, so that's going to be it. Don't make a difference who they hire as offensive coordinator because it all goes through your head coach. The only one that Flores handles entirely on his own, the defense. So
So you saw my little thing that I put up there about Goff earlier this week, right? About who he lines up against in the NFL and what they've done.
yeah,
Because everybody talks, well, Lamar and all his rushing touchdowns. In the last 20 games, he's had 36 touchdowns total. That's rushing and passing combined to Goff's 37. I just want to point that out.
see the problem with this type of NFL now. What's up, Broski Bear?
Hey, Broski Bear.
I'm just chopped liver. I know. Anyway, so
He just don't know you yet.
yeah, he don't know me. We argue a lot, though. I've argued with him on his show. I've argued with him on Kurt Steele's show. So because he's a Bear fan.
James is on fire, Patty ass.
What's up, Patty Grimes?
He goes, Patty Grimes, prices in my blood pressure.
Right.
All I know is with the next 3 days off, my blood pressure just went whoop, right to normal.
Well, there you go. You ain't get, you live a lax kind of life, Jeremy,
I
as
do.
far as I'm concerned. So you shouldn't have high blood pressure. You should be right there on the level, buddy.
Rodgers 1-4 in NFC title days, lost his home favorites in playoffs and QBs named Manning, Kaepernick, Jimmy G, and don't forget Jared Goff. Jared Goff beat Aaron Rodgers too, because they started with that one guy, John Woodruff, that was awful from that AAF league, and put
Mm-hmm.
Goff in the second quarter. He just didn't start the game.
Skybridge
With
and Boeing
Salon now
City.
on the
Yeah.
market to be a DC, that moves Patricia down the list. Well, damn.
Patricia down a list. He should be off the list. There shouldn't be a list with his name on it anywhere except for nasty, dumbass coaches. That's about it.
Anthony Richardson went to the IR 3 weeks ago, so Joe Flacco's in this week again.
Oh, he has a chance to play. That was more than that because he has a chance to play this week. They've been
But he didn't
talking
get
about
hurt
it.
till week 3.
Yeah,
So
well, the injury report is saying that he there's a chance he could
I think
start.
it's a mistake. I think it's a huge mistake.
It's a huge mistake to even, and he's frail anyway. It doesn't make a difference if he comes in after 4 weeks or whatever the case may be. I don't know if he was on an IR, but let me see what they got here on the injury report for him. He's questionable with his oblique. Yeah, Michael Pittman's going to play. I heard he's going to play. That's good for them. JT is out. Jay Downs is questionable. But yeah, he's questionable, so he can come in there. Of course, they're playing the Tennessee Titans, and as long as they got Levis starting, they should win that game. Levis is a big stick that's waiting to happen.
Knowing what the injuries are on the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys, and knowing that we are becoming more healthier because of the bye week being where it was and what few injuries we did have. What's your score prediction there, Bistrilla?
34-26. I think the defense is going to struggle a little bit, even with players being back. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to kill him like he did last game. CeeDee Lamb is like the Michael Jordan. You let him score his points, get his yards, but shut everybody else down. That's all you do. And they don't really got nobody else to go to. The only thing I would watch is Ferguson, their tight end. He's been balling lately. You got to watch him.
And Jalen Tolbert kind of emerged last week, but he was also versus the CB2 that it was his first game for Pittsburgh. So I think there was a little bit of that cobweb thing going on. Rusty.
Now, keep in mind, I saw a post earlier this week, too, that said somebody tried to call him elite. And he ain't elite. He's a great quarterback, but he's not elite. Elite quarterbacks get the job done with less, okay? And Goff is not that guy.
Right.
But he is a great quarterback when he got that team around him. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I've said about Goff. He's a great game manager who can put up elite numbers with the right team around him. We saw it in 2018 with that built team with LA, which you guys can say what you want, but that O-line was just as good as the O-line we have here right now because they were the third best O-line in the league. They gave up the second fewest sacks and and also created the most amount of room for a running back before contact. That's what Detroit's been doing ever since Goff's been here. Even when we had Swift and Jamal Williams back there, Jamal Williams was able to get 17 touchdowns in the red zone because that O-line basically gave him a gap to the end zone every play.
Right.
Bland is trending towards playing. He's a game time decision right now. And Parsons is out. Lawrence is still on the IR, so I think he doesn't come back till a week or two from now. I think this is only his second or third
week. It's his second week, yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, his first
it don't make a difference anyway. They were killing Bland anyway last year. Same thing. Bland was out there. Amon was killing him. He can't cover nobody. Bland is like his opposite on that team. They go for a lot of stuff and they get burnt a lot.
Yeah, because Trayvon Diggs learned to be a better coverage corner as he moved on. You notice he doesn't get as many picks. But he's getting better in coverage. If you look, the QBR has dropped significantly. That year he had the 11 picks. The QBR against him was like 112, which is awful. Any cornerback that gives up a 112 passer rating is awful. You want to know what cornerback is giving a 112 QBR this year on the Lions roster? It's not Terrion Arnold, it's not Kirby Joseph, and it's not Brian Branch. It's
It's Carlton Davis.
CD3,
Yeah.
Carlton Davis. Branch is back in that full strength. Ragnow's back.
CD
I pray to
is gonna be covering Lamb when he's on that side of the field, and they're just gonna have to have safety. There's no way you can't stop CD Lamb. I'm sorry, you just can't.
I
That's
would rather. I'm
just let him.
30. I'm 31-17. I think we're going to let Lamb get his 2 touchdowns. I think that's where they're getting their touchdowns from. They're going to get a field goal from Aubrey because that kid is good.
Not accidentally kill a ref, really.
He's going to walk right up to him instead of doing this. He's going to karate chop him across his throat.
Although, I wouldn't be surprised if BJ puts in a play that Dan Skipper has to report as eligible, and the play goes to him for a 2-point conversion or a score or something like that, even for a first down. That would be Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson knows how to get.
You know what? 5 times this game, Decker will be the one that reports eligible, and Dan Skipper will be on the line, and it'll be for a first down on a short third type thing. I think we're actually going to see that because they're going to make sure they see Decker every time.
Well, Danny Nuts, I want to say, just like I was telling John, you're not going to stop CD Lamb. The point is you got to reduce the damage that he does, and they can do that. They got they use the safety help and help CD out. They'll be fine.
Yep,
CD Cooks, as in Carlton Davis, not CD.
Brandon
Lamb.
Cooks is still out. Tyler Guyton is dealing with a calf strain. He looks like he might play, but that's if he's dealing with the calf strain and the right tackle's fully healthy, guess who I'm putting Aiden Hutchinson on? The guy with the calf strain.
Right. So
because if he's not 100% and he's out there, he's a liability. Expose him. And I want to see. Wingo did great on the passing downs. What I wanted to make everybody abundantly clear where he sucks at. It's defending the run. When he's in, when either Aleem or a Reader is out, he cannot see a double move to save his butt. He gets burnt by even quarterbacks that just do a stutter step. Well, if you remember right, you take away that 98-yard reception, Lamb doesn't have a touchdown in Dallas last year.
Yeah, really. I mean, Dallas is really limping into this game offensively. They have one of their offensive tackles that's hurt too, or offensive lineman that's hurt.
Tyler Guyton was the guy that had a calf.
Yeah, Guyton. Yeah,
he's a game time decision.
And Brandon Cooks is on IR, so that takes care of him.
Right.
So, like I said, the only person you got to worry about is Ferguson and maybe Cobra. I'm not counting Cobra, to tell you the truth. I mean, he might get some bullshit yards, but I doubt he's going to be doing anything special. And they don't have a running game. So with that, that's the reason why teams been killing them. They really don't have a good offense right now. They don't. And Dak is doing all he can with what he has, and he ain't got nothing.
I pray to God that AG has watched the 2 times teams have gone into zone with the league versus Dak Prescott. You can't go to zone. He cannot beat press man coverage that's sticky. So every time when the Ravens went to zone because they were up 3 scores, that's when Dallas made it a game. When Pittsburgh was up 2 scores, they went to zone. Dallas ended up winning that game. That is what you cannot do versus Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. You cannot go zone. He will pick you apart. He'll start hitting you underneath, and as soon as you start to creep up, and then the guys start to run a little bit, then he's going to play action to CD Lamb over the top or Tolbert. That's what will happen.
Yeah, Orlando, they're not going to triple Lamb. I mean, that's
There's no reason to
AG.
triple him.
There's no reason. No, just as long as you play him corner, safety high, he'd be fine. As long as they got a safety in a corner on him, he'd be all right. Like I said, there's nobody else that they need to double up on. There's nobody they need to double on. And then Amik Robinson, people keep forgetting about talking about him, but he's been shutting people down. So
I've been saying it for 3 weeks. I would switch CD3 to nickel and put Amik outside, because even though he's 5'10", the guy plays like he's 6'2", and has been an outside corner.
I wouldn't put him at CB1 though. He's not on that page yet. He didn't do very good when he was a CB2 for the Raiders. When they had to put him out there as CB2, he didn't do very good. He's strictly a nickel corner. He needs to be kept in that position.
Trust me.
He gets so fired. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I couldn't even say anything about Dallas in this whole point because they got Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is like the crypt keeper. He is the crypt keeper.
He's the crypt creeper with the mind of Al Davis. He's more senile. But anyways, I want to see us beating him so bad that in the fourth quarter, Jared Goff isn't even on the field. We get to see Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker, yeah. That's what we always want.
I want to see us up by like 28 points.
Broski Bear, we already told you. There's only one they have to cover, and that's CeeDee Lamb. They don't really have no receivers out there. They don't. Ferguson is about there's a second threat, and he's a tight end. So
if the refs screw us again, Dan Campbell's going to get him.
I'm not even worried about the referees. The referees ain't going to help Dallas this time either. I just don't see it. Dallas is just they're crap right now. The refs can't even help them out. Tim Patrick is another guy that we got to watch too. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Orlando calls it right. Hooker, the human victory cigar, like Darko was for the Pistons in 2004. That's an apt analogy, actually. But wouldn't that be great if he actually go out there and we do end up in a 3rd and long and they let him do a play action, the play breaks down, and all of a sudden he rushes for a first down? Lions fans would go ballistic. And I'm in both ways. Oh, look what he can do. At the same time, Goff has more passing and rushing touchdowns combined right now in the last 21 games than Lamar has had. And I think that's a huge... That blows my mind, but when you think about it, it's actually realistic for one reason. He has 34 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. Whereas Lamar has like 26 passing touchdowns and the rest of them are rushing touchdowns.
Because that's what he does. That's what kind of quarterback he is. And to tell you the truth, Hooker's going to put us into that new wave quarterback age. When Goff is done playing here, he's going to be the guy that does that running and does the Lamar things. He's going to be what quarterbacks are, what teams look at quarterbacks to do now. So
right. I mean, Jaden Daniels so far looks like a better quarterback as a rookie than Lamar looked.
Yeah, I think he's on that same path as CJ Stroud was last year too. I think he might be just a tad bit better too than he was last year. So
and Goff got a receiving touchdown. So that's not even added. Yes, the Dallas roster isn't impressive, and with the injuries in the front 7, I expect it to look a lot like we did versus the Seattle Seahawks game.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The players will be out there playing because that's their profession. I'm not saying that the Lions are going to, everybody's talking about, we're going to blow them out and all that stuff. No, don't do that. Lions rarely ever blow out a team. Rarely ever blow out a team.
We really didn't blow out Seattle if you think about it. We just stayed with the same 2-score lead the rest of the second half.
First of all, you have an offensive coordinator that don't know how to step on necks yet. That's the problem. If we had an offensive coordinator that killed teams after they were put up 14 points, they had 14 points ahead of them, that would be great. They're
He didn't keep his foot on the gas last week.
Yeah, he did
That
last
fourth week?
week. He had
Okay.
to
Right,
because they were going back and forth scoring
right.
touchdowns.
But what I'm saying, he maintained that 2-score lead
What?
basically the entire game
But
because he did keep his foot on the gas, and that's what I want that to see this week. Is what I'm saying.
I'm talking about when they know they're an inferior team. Instead of beating them like 21-10, they should be beating them like 42. Kind of like what they should have done to Arizona. Arizona should have got their ass whooped in that game. I'm
Arizona's
sorry.
better defensively than what we thought.
They weren't better
but
defensively in that game. No, they were
no, not in that game. But they still clamped down in the red zone on us. I think we were 2 of 5 in the red zone.
No, we were 5 out of 5. We were 2 out of 2 in that game in the red zone. They
We
weren't
just didn't
stopping
get
that
there.
offense. They weren't stopping the offense. Ben was stopping that offense. In that third quarter, remember, that was pissing me off because they were running the ball too damn much, or they weren't running the ball when they need to run the ball. No, they were running the ball. They didn't run the ball like on a 3rd and 2 when Montgomery was killing them on that offensive line, and he was up sitting there passing way down the field. I'm like, dude, you don't need to do that. Just keep running the ball.
Since Broski is the guest fan in here of another team, do we start at the bottom or the top, sir?
Top or bottom, broski? Top or bottom?
It takes a minute for the chat to catch up.
That's what she said.
The chat lags by a minute.
Yeah, Orlando, third quarter is that's what I'm talking about. Third quarter, he's got to get his stuff together. That's when you put the foot on the neck right
And
there.
that's what I was talking about. Last week we finally did it, and I hope he continues that. That's why I said it. The last
That's the
week we
point.
played,
He's got to continue to do something.
Right.
He doesn't. He's
Yeah.
not. The consistency in the third quarter has not been there.
I think Dan Campbell said something about it. He goes, we can't go and have a field goal in the
I'm
third
sure he
quarter
said
for
something
no
about it
point.
quite a few times since
Because-
last year too, because last year was bad third quarters. So I'm sure
No,
some discussion was happening. He just don't
I
do that.
went
That's
over
all.
it. You can't average be a top 10 scoring offense for 3 quarters, and then the third quarter comes up, you're 19th. That's not good. Defensively, we were in the top 15 the first, the second, and fourth quarter. Guess what we were in the third quarter? 32nd. Every team in the league was better than the Lions in the third quarter last season.
Mhm.
This year, it's gotten a little better every week. We finally scored in the third quarter in week 3. The last week in week 4, we scored 2 touchdowns. We've never seen that in the third quarter before, one of them being a receiving touchdown.
Oh, we scored in the third quarter against Tampa Bay with JMO pass. That was his third quarter touchdown.
I thought that was beginning of the fourth.
That was the third quarter. I'm pretty sure it was. Damn it. Yeah, we scored 10 points in that quarter.
Hmm.
See, week 1. What are we doing week 1? They scored 7 points in week 1 in the third quarter.
So we scored every game in the third quarter. The fourth quarter, we didn't do anything.
No, against Arizona, we didn't score in the third quarter.
Against who?
Against Arizona, we didn't score in the third quarter.
Could have scored
We didn't score any in that half period.
Evidently, they didn't do much either.
And they scored 3 points.
Oh, okay.
We scored 14 last week, or when we played Seattle. They scored 21 points to their 22.
And you're right. The Bucks are way better than the Cowgirls. It is what it is. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. That's the same for any team in the NFL. I just wish I had a team that could not score a point on offense and win a game.
Well, you can always hope, Broski Bear. That's all I can say to you. You can always hope. I know you really
You,
want the Lions to lose. I understand that
hey,
because you're a
Skrilla,
Bears fan. There's nothing wrong with that.
you caught what I just said there, right?
What's that?
I wish I had an offense that couldn't score a point, but yet the defense and special teams do and win the game.
You're not talking about Chicago, are you?
No, did I do that?
I gotta admit, though, the quarterback is getting better. He's plausible. He's playing better. And I don't think it's because of the offensive line, because now he knows the offensive line sucks, so he knows what he's got to do to get away. I don't care what Ken the Bear fan says. The offensive line still sucks. He still gets sacked at least, right? The only reason why he didn't get sacked against Carolina but one time is because it's Carolina.
I still couldn't believe that Goff outran a defensive tackle to get that receiving touchdown. That was great.
Now, let's not get carried away, James. I'm not going to do no double moves. Jared is not doing double moves.
No, he's just a red zone threat. He's not. He doesn't have that deep route speed.
Got to make sure you see Goff wherever he's at in the red zone.
They won the game. Don't care. No, he doesn't live in Flint.
Yep.
I don't even drink the Flint water, and I live near there. But at the same time, bottom or top, broski? Where do you want me to start from? Never mind. I'm going to pick it myself. We're going to go from the bottom.
Hey, Broski Bear, we're 3-1, so, you know.
F-T-B. FDB. Fuck the Bears.
No Bears.
And last but not least, just because they're leading the division, I hate them anyways. It's skull fuck.
That's right.
He just quit painting his
nails.
Plus one good guy.
I don't know what you're talking about drinking that Flint water about anyway. Just gonna let you know, Broski Bear, that, you know, I'm just telling it the way it is. Until you win a division, you ain't got nothing to say. So, and it's been a long time since you won a division. At least it's the Bears have won a division. Unless you're talking about what I said about your offensive line. Your offensive line sucks, bro. That's your weakness. Your weakness is the offensive line. Baby giraffe, baby giraffe.
I wonder where he got that line from.
Yeah, his brother is a hater. Equinomus is a hater. He went off on Detroit. He's like, nobody wants to come to Detroit and blah, blah, blah. I said, dude, you were just mad because your brother's better than you and Detroit Lions didn't want your punk ass because you stink. That's why you got New Orleans.
He's just salty because his brother wouldn't speak to Brad Holmes to get him here. And so he talks shit.
You act like you did something and you won an AA5 Super Bowl. Get the hell out of here with that stuff, man. Dude, I don't want to hear nothing from no Chicago fans.
What team?
And that's with an S, James, not with a C.
B. What team has been in the basement more, the Lions or the Bears since 2000?
Bears.
6 times to 5.
The Bears. So
and that's pretty bad considering we had a year where we didn't win a game.
Mm-hmm. Man, the refs ain't even taking those checks. You know why? Because that's what Kansas City's paying them for.
Here is the last thing I got to say about the Cowboys. On the road, they're averaging 8 8 penalties against them, offensively and defensively combined per game. They've had 24 in 3 games. At home in their 2 games, they've had 25 penalties called against them.
Mhm.
I do they get too hyped up and just listen to their fans and go nuts or something when they're at home? I don't get it. How do you go up by 4.5 penalties per game just by being at home? That's a statistical anomaly I've never heard of before.
Well, they're going to lose again, so their home record is going to be shot. They might as well go on the road and play games because even their fans don't like them at home. they're going to Houston games. They're not even going to Dallas games anymore.
Did you see that post last year after that playoff loss to the Cowboys? The guy was watching TV and it shows this Chinese girl with the new Sony unbreakable screen whacking it with a sledgehammer, and he just goes, "Oh, he knows that's the only way his TV is going to survive 5 playoff years."
Yeah, true
But
guy.
I think
True.
this is the first year the Cowboys missed the playoff. I think that division is coming down to the Eagles and Commanders.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia's going to get it together later in the year. Like I said, it's not how you start; it's how you finish.
Right.
So
There's something missing there. The fact that Devin White and Vic Fangio had a falling out. Oh, you can hope.
that's what you think. When you have an offense like ours, you ain't went mauling nobody. You don't even have an
How
offensive
many,
line.
how many sacks has that $100 million defensive end got this year?
Who for the
Montez
Bears?
Sweat.
Is he even playing?
I don't know. I haven't heard his name in so long.
I
Although
haven't heard
he
his name
defended him.
either. I've heard everybody else's name, just not
Oh,
his.
he has 2.
Oh.
He has 2 sacks.
Hey, there's a guy in the league that's got like 6.5, doesn't he?
He has 8 total tackles.
Ooh, he's awesome.
He has a pass defended and a forced fumble.
Probably had one of the sacks.
I think it was a strip sack that he got that on.
Oh yeah, it was against the Titans. He got Levis. I remember that.
16 combined tackles, 6.5 sacks, and a forced fumble.
Who's
Whose
that?
stats are those?
You sure it's not 6.5? It's
6.5.
6.5? Oh.
It's 6.5.
It's this guy that used to play up in University of Michigan. I think he plays for the Lions.
Yeah, number
Pretty sure
97,
he does.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, that
What's
guy.
funny is he had a bye week and still nobody passed him in the sack count.
He's probably going to get a couple more this coming up Sunday. I kind of think he's going to get a couple more.
I want to see how many did he get that week because I remember that first.
He had one. He had one last week.
No,
Or the last time. And then he had.
oh boy.
I think he had one sacked in too.
I'm looking. He had 3.
3 sacks against Dallas. Okay, there you
3
go.
sacks on Dak Prescott.
There you go.
He was the only one on the team to record a sack. He had 5 total tackles, 3 sacks. Ify Melifonwu had the big interception. That was while CJ, GJ, and Tracy Walker was out.
Well, he didn't have a very good game against Seattle. He had pressures. He didn't have a sack.
Tons of pressures. He had 4 QB hits and a ton of pressures.
Rodriguez had a sack. Levi had a half of a sack. Oh, McNeil and Levi sacked quarterback once. Yeah.
Yep.
And DJ Reader had a pick.
Mm-hmm.
And a sack. He had a game.
Yes, he did. He was one of
Oh,
our high,
he
one of
had a
our
sack.
five rated. He had one of
He had
our.
a sack.
He was one of our 5 highest rated defenders that game versus Seattle.
Yeah.
It was Aiden Hutchinson at the top. As much as everybody wants to talk shit because he didn't get a sack that game, guess what? He still got a 90 something from PFF. That means you were elite. Why? Because he had 14 pressures, 4 QB hits, and 6 QB hurries. That's a lot. I don't care who you are in the league.
He didn't show up on the tackling though.
I sit my ass on a bear seat every time I take my title home. That's funny. Well, thank you everybody for watching, but I do have to give homage to my sponsor.
That's right.
It is Brandon Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road. In Flint, where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check us out. Used tires starting at $45 and up. If you need new tires, please call 810-338-230. Talk to George, Red, or myself, except this weekend because I ain't stepped in that fucking place. So talk to George or Red this weekend.
That's right. Because JB ain't nowhere there.
Nope.
Nowhere. Not even on Monday.
What's that Wilbur used to say on Looney Tunes? Nope, not
Nope.
gonna do it.
Not
gonna do it.
Not gonna do it.
But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the